To talk about this, we're joined now by Robert Chandler, who is Managing Director at the South African Institute of Driving Instructors. Advocate Makhosini Msibi is the CEO of the Road Traffic Management Corporation. Thanks to you both for speaking to us. Perhaps let me start with you, Advocate Msibi. What spurred on this proposal, given that many of said thousands of motorists are unable to book online license slots for driving licenses or even e-card renewals? And now, how are we being asked to pay more for what is deemed a problematic service?
Thank you, Tapisa, and your viewers for having me, as well as Mr. Chandler. We have observed with much trepidation at the misinformation circulating in the newspapers, in the social media, in relation to the fact that motorists are now expected to pay 250 additional for the online booking. The online booking system is free of charge. Anybody, particularly in Gauteng, as well as Nelson Mandela Bay in Eastern Cape, are making use of that facility without any further payment. It's a free service made at the disposal of South Africans to ensure that there is certainty and people are assured. But let me also hasten to indicate that as a caring government, the minister, as well as the affected MECs, listened to the plight of the South Africans who were battling to get the slots.
Okay, Advocate Msibi, I have to ask you this question. You say people aren't paying anything for it. I want to understand the 72 Rand for the production cost of each card from the DLTC. Isn't that payment sourced from one's payment for the card?
Well, the 72 Rands that you're referring to is a transactional fee that is paid for the renewal of the vehicle licensing. In relation to the driver license card, you will then be paying, the money is split in between the province or the DLTC and the DLCA.
So I just want to understand, does it fund the online booking in some way or the other at the moment? No.
No, it doesn't. That's why we're saying we're very perturbed with the misinformation and nefarious reasons that have been circulating.
All right, Mr. Chandler, what's your understanding?
Okay. Right, I think first of all, the Gazette that is under discussion is actually what is important here. It has nothing to do with what is currently happening. The advocate refers to a system which is unique to Gauteng province at the moment. And there is also doubt as to the lawfulness of the system, as well as the constitutionality. We've submitted representation to the MEC of Gauteng and to the authorities and to the Department of Transport. So we doubt the validity, and this is actually known as a pilot project. Nowhere in the National Road Traffic Act does it say that this online system can be used. It talks about applying in person, not via the proxy of a system.
But on the basics, do you agree with Advocate Msibi that right now people are not paying for the service and this 250 will help alleviate things such as the backlog and provide a more efficient service? Are you...
I disagree, I'm sorry. The person, at this moment, nobody is paying. It's only Gauteng and Port Elizabeth or Nelson Mandela Bay that are using it as a pilot project. It's intended to roll this out to the country, and the Gazette in question sets a fee for when the rollout. It is a proposal that is out there for comment. There's nothing that has been in the paper that says that this is being charged now. It's a proposal that the minister intends to make it a charge. So what's happening now is immaterial. It's what is going to happen in the future. And this Gazette says that in the future, it's intended we pay for the booking. So the information that's out there in the newspapers and on social media is correct. Okay. And if you read the News 24 article, it says quite clearly that it is a proposal and people have time to make comments. So yes, nobody's paying on the pilot system, but this is the future we're talking about.
Advocate Msibi, how are these draft amendments going to be regulating fees? So I'm just trying to understand that if I could do a walk-in, why am I being forced to go onto an online system when digitization is ostensibly supposed to be for my convenience, not inconvenience?
Okay, so it's very important to read the law as it stands. And I think the publication is in both languages. This 250 that has been referred to, it's the online driver license renewal, not the securing the online booking. Let's then begin to explain. We are a country that has embraced the fourth industrial revolution. And to that effect, we need to ensure that we make business easy and at the convenience of the people. So what people are going to have after the publication that the minister has invited the public to comment, if you choose to make use of the online facilities, particularly at the convenience of your house, you will ordinarily, with a walk-in at the DLTC, pay an amount of 228 for the production and the acquisition of the driver license card. If you then use the option of the online, which will then ensure that you effect the payment at the convenience of your house online, you'll pay a further 22.
Mr.
There's
Chandler,
nothing of a double.
Mr. Chandler, you've heard the explanation by Advocate Msibi saying that you're not necessarily forced to do that, but you have seen this as indirect taxation, which you say for an already funded system. How do you then understand this proposal as being outlined by Advocate Msibi? Do you feel that it's warranted, and will it lead to greater efficiencies given the backlog?
I think Advocate respectfully makes mention of the Gazette, and it speaks, and I'll quote here, online booking for the renewal of credit card format driving licenses, 250 Rand. It does not talk about the issue of the driving license. It does not talk about the transactional fee at the driving license testing center. The driving license testing center fee that is paid over is set in the National Road Traffic Act, not in the RTMC Corporations Act. So you now have two fees that are out there, one existing, one proposed. One talks about online booking. The other one is for the issue and the processing of the documents and your biometrics. It's two separate things we are talking about. We can't lump them in. If the intention is that that is the total fee, then that means that there's an additional fee over and above the 72 that is going to go to NATIS.
Okay.
And some places are going to be increased, but I do not believe the efficiency is going to be increased because we have infrastructure problems on the ground at the driving license testing center, and it cannot be addressed by remote.
Because we have run out of time, Advocate Msibi, very briefly, you're saying at this point this is for public comment. I want to understand, if the minister gets objections from the public, how will he decide if these have no merit? As you've just heard from what Mr. Chandler is saying is wrong with how you are aligning what will happen.
Well, let me quickly indicate that he's referring to the provisions of Section 53. And indeed, if there's any uncertainty about the legality of this matter, we are a democratic constitutional country. Anybody is invited to take us on review, take us before the courts, and we're open to such issues because we are a fledgling democracy that embraces this. But the second issue falls into this matter. There is no transactional fee paid in relation to this, and nobody is funding the e-NATIS. The e-NATIS is funded out of the transactional fee of the 72 rand. In fact, the doomsayers in South Africa were saying that South Africa would not be in the position as government to manage the e-NATIS. The e-NATIS has been up and running since the Constitutional Court has given to the RTMC in 2017. Okay. And we have saved South Africans, when we used to pay about 40 million a month to run that service, we have saved drastically what they're saying, and it has never been done.
All right, thank you.
So we want to challenge anybody who doubts the efficiency of the e-NATIS to give some empirical evidence to that effect, not allegation.
Thank you so much to both of you.
Thank you so much.
We have run out of time. Advocate Makhosini Msibi, CEO of Road Traffic Management Corporation, Robert Chandler, Managing Director at the South African Institute of Driving Instructors. So it's in your hands now that you can write to the panel that is going to be reviewing this proposal and, as you say, provide evidence of why you believe the e-NATIS system is not working, and also objections to this proposal. We're going to take a look at